Bhakti Sutras are here to remind the soul, to remind the soul ways how to liberate the soul from anything that binded it on these lower worlds. So the Bhakti Sutras have been very enlightening in a very simplistic way to remind ourselves that anything that we are binding ourselves with or attaching ourselves with, they are limiting us from experiencing the eternal bliss and the eternal love of God within. So the Bhakti Sutras are a path illuminating the path of love through practicing devotion. And devotion in the deepest level is devoting oneself to God. So it's not an object, it's not external, it is within your deepest core level where you surrender over and over, surrendering your own sufferings, giving it up, giving it away, realizing that suffering is not needed anymore, because as human beings we have lived through a lot of suffering. We have lived through division and separation. We have lived through duality. Perceiving life through duality is perceiving separation. That is its core. And thus it's so far away from the eternal bliss and love of God. So thus, through the path of surrender, giving up or giving away what is no longer needed to be identified as ourself, we become selfless. And we practice selflessness. And practicing selflessness thins out the ego. So when we find ourselves wrapped up in a story, you realize that you are supporting some kind of suffering. You are supporting the ego self. You are supporting something there, and that is a fixation or a hook. It restricts you. You may feel tense. You may feel something's weighing you down. And thus, from the higher level, there is this light of God and grace, where when we are willing to truly give anything up that comes in the way of the eternal love, then we give it away, we give it up, we allow grace to uplift us, we allow the divine masters and teachers from above to overlight their light upon us and help us to uplift us from this land of illusion that we have been born into. And this land of illusion is so immersed, I must say, so immersed in our life experience that we made it to seem normal, to be so attached to the external worlds, and also the subtle external worlds too, such as being attached to thoughts, being attached to emotions, being attached to energies, and that created a certain binding. It's like our soul became a prisoner of these external subtleties of the universe. And our soul, ultimately, it wants to be free. It wants to be free and liberated, having no attachments of any kind, but to reunite with God and with the eternal love of God. This is the deepest desire of our soul, to disidentify from all attachments, all worldly attachments, from the gross to the most subtle, and reunite with God within. So this lineage of bhakti, of devotion, is here to remind us that God, the eternal divine love and the eternal divine light, is available to everyone, but yet it's so rare for a soul on this earth to be absolutely liberated from all attachments and to have the opportunity to reunite and immerse oneself back into this bliss and love of God. So today's topic and inspiration that comes true for me to share with you is about one of the sutras. Love alone is supreme. Love alone is supreme. So, love alone, this means that love without attachments. Love without any interferences of any kind, nothing binding to this eternal love, nothing twisting it or distorting it, nothing attached to it from any personal or impersonal way. This is why it is love alone. Love that is untouched, love that is pure in its nature, because it is the pure love of God itself. And that is supreme. So this is the love alone is supreme. And for any soul to return to this love alone is for one to, let's say, become fully naked, undressing all the coating, all the layers of all identities, giving all up until all that is left is the love, the absolute love of God. And so now we can reflect upon this and contemplate on what is precious. How do you put value on something? How does one value what is precious, what is supreme? So does the value come from the place of its utility, Does it come from the rareness of availability? So if something is available in plenty, do you recognize that its value diminishes? So, to give you an example, there is such a big value on gold, for example, and yes, this may be a rare metal, but yet people may work many hours and many jobs to save money, for example, and invest in gold and have this certain value to that gold, so to speak. But on the other hand, does anyone value as much as gold, for example, iron? Yes, it's the iron that is a necessity to have in our body for us to be able to function. Without iron in our system, we may faint and not have any energy and power to do anything. And is this iron in our system valued? Nobody speaks how important iron is. You see, and so thus, when you evaluate and you start contemplating, what is necessary? Is it the gold that everybody so much adores and wishes to have, for example, because it's so valued, but useless compared to the iron in our system, or any health, or any vitamins, anything that supports this system of ours to be healthy. So when you really look at the psychology of the collective, humanity, something is really it doesn't fit very well. It's like, do we value the water we drink? Do we value the air we breathe? Do we value the earth? But apparently not, because none of these essentials, highly valuable components, they are all destroyed. They're all toxic. And it's crazy when you look at what is valued here on earth. Money is valued, but yet people work so much and destroy their well-being and mental state to feel, for example, them being rich. They value that more than their state of being. Everything is so reversed and totally opposite of what the naturalness is. And the same goes with eternal divine love of God. Do we value this really? I don't think so. When I look around, it doesn't seem so. It's like divine God, an experience of that is forgotten within this civilization. It's forgotten. Is there any ways how people prioritize to give up their attachments and addictions to all worldly activity and give their power to divine within, to God within? You don't see that happening so often either. But people give more of their power to worry, for example. You know, that there is more value in worry, there is more value in fear, there is more value in anger, there is more value in lust and greed. It's given a lot of power, a lot of energy. And yet, what is the most precious, the most pure, is forgotten. Is forgotten. We rather live a life was like, I have to do this job because I need to survive and I have to do this and that, but knowing it's not fulfilling to your soul. So giving the power away to something which is not necessary. So we have to, in a way, reverse this system, this structure, and return to a more natural way that is sustainable and is supporting and nurturing our soul. And through the nurture of the soul, meaning being in absolute alignment with our soul's path, soul's purpose, and prioritizing the eternal love, the supreme, before anything else. Before anything else. It's like how many times we find ourselves worrying or giving our power to fears and insecurities, wasting so much of the spiritual energy that can be utilized for a much higher purpose. So re-evaluation is so necessary. Yes, it's so important for us because something you were committed to maybe a few years back may not make sense now. Yes, so something you've said yes to or valued in the past may not be the same now because of your growth, your expansion, and your clarity that is coming through to you, and your deeper, unification with the higher consciousness. Your values, they change. And as we are now coming to the end of the year, this too may be implemented. Yes, to re-evaluate what is precious. How do you put value on something? Yes, and reevaluating that will support the liberation of your soul, not to take anything for granted. Yes, and allow yourself to complete what is ready and mature enough to complete and give away, move forward, so to speak, rise above, transcend the ways that are expiring. Yeah, so that you can keep uplifting your spirit and soul to live, to bring divine here in your life experience in this lifetime. So another example to contemplate upon is the value of space, which many times it's dismissed. Yes, we don't value the space itself. For example, I will bring you example with a cup. Yes, if you have, for example, a plastic cup and a silver cup, or a golden cup, or a cup made from the most refined china, we tend to give value to that most precious cup, isn't it? The cup that has the most refined art, or the most rare of what you can see or witness. But we tend to dismiss the purpose of that cup. Yes, it's the space within that cup that is necessary. Yes, that is necessary. So how come we give value to this outer something, yes, this cup of gold, and we dismiss what is necessary, that space to be filled so that you can be nourished? And I'm bringing this example because I see that as this body vehicle. This body vehicle, it's okay, it's a shell, like a cup. And it doesn't matter how this body vehicle looks like. It doesn't matter that you're a man or a woman, or it doesn't matter which country you're from and the age you are. It doesn't matter at all. And what matters is within the space of this vehicle, how is it being valued? What is the substance within that you value within you? So do you recognize this this value of the space? It has nothing to do with the crust, but yet we give so much power to the crust. Yes, we give so much power away of how we are changing and growing, or this or that, yes? And yet within this inner space, when it's purified and everything is, as we go along, we tend to let go, disidentify, unhook the hooks of identity. And we create this openness. But this is what the full consciousness is. Boundless openness. Irrelevant of anything else. Yes. Because it doesn't matter. The value is not in the appearance. So what is precious? And this is a really great way to contemplate, reevaluate, and give priority, prioritize the love supreme. Clean yourself out from this and that, from all of the worldly attachments that distract you, that pull you here or there. They pull you away from what is most important. So we have a question, and I would like to explore this question with you. How can we stay in our authentic love if our environment doesn't support, with friends who don't think from the heart? It's a very good question, because it's a question that speaks through everyone. We have to acknowledge that not everyone is aware or has undergone a certain amount of inner conscious work and healing and transcendence of the lower vehicles of consciousness. So whether they are friends, whether they're family, or whether acquaintances or co-workers, we face this in our daily life. And it may touch you or feel saddened about it, because from your heart and soul you truly wish that others could have the same opportunity that you had, have the same opportunity to be so close, so intimate with your heart of hearts, with your soul and higher vehicles of consciousness, and with divine God within. But yet, not everyone is ready yet, or else everyone has their own pace, their own timing. And so you may recognize this. There's a difference, a big difference sometimes. And when you have worked through your own self and opened up, you may see how the other one is more restricted and self-limiting, and so many dense conditionings playing out there. What do you do? Well, first of all, you can't push people or try to make them see what you see, because it's obviously clear that that is not the case in this present. Maybe the future will change that, but now it's not the case. So to stay in your authentic love is to be free in love, to be free, meaning that's the ultimate realization that love is free, love is untouched, love alone is supreme. And from that place, you do not waver. Yes, you do not waver yourself or dim this love of God pouring from you. So you do not waver, you abide in your authenticity of that love. And what you could do is practice compassion, because compassion helps to transcend any suffering present, consciously or unconsciously, in the other. It allows you to not grip with the environment that doesn't feel or live from the heart. So thus you stay open, you stay free, untouched. No, doesn't mean you don't feel for another. Most probably you are all empathic. You feel people suffering. You feel people, what they're going through. But you can guide when necessary or when there is an opening, an invitation, because otherwise it's not received. Otherwise, it's not even heard. And when you stand and abide in the authentic love, you become a role model. No need to say anything or teach anything or guide anything, but out of your actions, out of your immense love or unconditionality, then that may or may not, no expectations, may touch their heart or soul at some point. So when you don't have expectation, then you remain in your authentic love. But if you have expectation of another, if you have judgment, then you're bound to get wavered, so to speak, into that narrative. So abide where you are and be free. Be free. Do not impose, but yet be aware that if someone is feeling you or starting to recognize something in you, in their own time they will surely come. But otherwise, if they're not living from their heart or their soul, you still be you. Yeah, you still abide in your authentic love without expectations for anyone to change or become something else. So that is free love, unbound love.